In the world of addiction recovery and treatment, you're often faced with two options: abstinence or harm reduction. But which one actually works? In the next 12 minutes or so, we're going to dive into one of the biggest choices and challenges in addiction recovery. The stakes? Not being dramatic, but saving lives. Is a strict path of abstinence the answer, or does the adaptability of harm reduction offer a better solution? As we go break down these methods together, you'll see why the choice you make could redefine everything you thought you knew about recovery. This isn't just about picking a side, it's about a decision that has the potential to 100% transform your life. So, if you've been wondering whether abstinence or harm reduction is the right approach for you or someone you know, stick around because I'm about to drop some knowledge. And who am I to guide you through this maze? My name is Dr. Salman Aziz Mirza, triple board certified in adult psychiatry, child and adolescent psychiatry, and addiction medicine, and I help people make this choice every single day. Let's start off by diving into a truth that often gets shadowed by misconception. Addiction is not a choice. It's a complex medical condition. Imagine for a moment living in a world where every decision you make is scrutinized, where seeking help feels like an uphill battle against judgment. That's the stark reality for many facing issues with addiction. Despite advancements in our understanding of addiction, the stigma remains. It's rooted in the age-old belief that addiction is a moral failing rather than what it truly is, a chronic disease affecting the brain. But what happens when we shift our perspective, viewing addiction through the lens of science and compassion? This shift brings us to the forefront of a critical conflict in the journey towards recovery, the decision between abstinence and harm reduction. On one side, abstinence, the total cessation of substance use, is often seen as the gold standard of recovery. On the other, harm reduction, a strategy aimed at minimizing the negative health, social, and legal impacts associated with drug use without necessarily stopping the use entirely. Many find themselves caught in the middle, yearning for acceptance and support, yet confused by the plethora of recovery options. They're told, just stop using, as if it were that simple, or use in moderation, without clear guidance on how. The frustration grows, fueled by a society that demands perfection without providing a roadmap. But here's where we find resolution. Understanding that recovery is not one size fits all. Just as addiction affects everyone differently, so too does the path to recovery. The key lies in personalized treatment, acknowledging individual needs, circumstances, and most importantly, the person behind the addiction. Remember, the goal isn't to champion one method over the other. Instead, it's to illuminate the paths that are available, guiding you towards a choice that best suits your journey to recovery. Because at the end of the day, the most effective treatment is the one that works for you. Abstinence-based recovery, a cornerstone in the field of addiction treatment, operates on a principle as clear as it is demanding: complete cessation of substance use. Historically, this approach has been the bedrock of many recovery programs, such as Alcohol Anonymous, or AA, revered for its simplicity and definitive goal. But what lies beneath this seemingly straightforward strategy? For centuries, abstinence has been championed by societies worldwide, often intertwined with moral and ethical beliefs about purity and self-control. It's a path well trodden, marked by the successes of countless individuals who've managed to turn their lives around by completely cutting out substances from their lives. Yet this journey is far from a simple trek from point A to point B. Enter the realm of challenges and fears that accompany abstinence. The foremost amongst these, the daunting shadow of relapse. Imagine standing on the precipice of recovery, aware that a single misstep could send you tumbling back into the abyss. This fear isn't just a personal battle. It's magnified by societal stigma, where relapse is often seen not as a part of the recovery process, but as a failure of will. Moreover, the societal stigma attached to addiction and recovery under the abstinence model adds another layer of complexity. It's not just the internal struggle that individuals face, it's the external judgment, the unsolicited opinions, and sometimes the outright dismissal of their efforts. How does one navigate this path, knowing that the world is watching, often with a critical eye? But here's where we find a glimmer of hope and resolution. Abstinence, while challenging, offers a clear directive for those for whom total sobriety is the goal. The key to traversing this path isn't just about avoiding substances, it's about building a life so fulfilling, so engaging, that the void left by abstinence becomes a space for new growth, new joys, and new achievements. In a world where the journey of recovery is often painted in black and white, harm reduction emerges as a spectrum of color, challenging the traditional dichotomy of addiction treatment. But what exactly is harm reduction, and how does its philosophy reshape our understanding of recovery? Harm reduction represents a pragmatic approach that prioritizes reducing the negative consequences of drug use, rather than insisting on absolute abstinence. Its roots stretch back to the early responses to the HIV and AIDS epidemic, where the goal was to save lives in the face of a crisis, regardless of whether individuals continue to use drugs. This philosophy extends beyond health interventions. It's a commitment to meet people where they are, embracing compassion over judgment. Contrasting sharply with the abstinence-only model, harm reduction acknowledges the complex reality of addiction, a reality where not everyone is ready or able to stop substance use outright. It's here, in this acknowledgement, that harm reduction offers its most powerful message: recovery in any form is valid and valuable. Yet, embracing harm reduction is not without its challenges and concerns. Skeptics worry that it may inadvertently encourage drug use, a misconception rooted in misunderstanding the approach's core intent. The truth is, harm reduction aims not to promote drug use, but to minimize its harm and empower individuals towards healthier choices, at their own pace. The benefits of harm reduction are tangible and multifaceted, from needle exchange programs reducing the spread of infectious diseases to overdose prevention sites saving lives. The evidence supports its effectiveness. But perhaps its greatest benefit is its adaptability, offering individualized pathways to recovery that respect personal circumstances and goals. As we navigate the nuances of harm reduction, it's crucial to recognize that its ultimate goal aligns with that of abstinence: to support individuals in leading healthier, more fulfilling lives. The difference lies in the journey, not the destination. With that said, what really works in addiction recovery? It's important to note that in the US, less than 12% of the 20 million Americans with a substance use disorder receive specialized treatment for their use disorder. And of that amount, about 30% leave treatment early. The 2017 National Survey on Drug Use and Health reported that the number one reason for this was that people in treatment were not ready to stop using substances. In fact, of those that are diagnosed with a substance use disorder, about 95% state that they do not want or even need treatment. From my training, we were hammered over the head that abstinence-only treatment programs overwhelmingly do not work, with some reports stating a relapse rate of over 90%. So, why is this the message that is the loudest and the message that is being taught in medical schools and training programs? It's truly a mystery, and one that so many experts, like myself, hopefully, are trying to change. Speaking of experts, what do they say? Leading addiction specialists and mental health professionals advocate for a nuanced view. They emphasize that the effectiveness of abstinence or harm reduction should not be evaluated in isolation, but rather in the context of individual suitability, support mechanisms, and long-term health outcomes. Check out my interview with Stephen Murray, where we discuss his personal experiences with both of these approaches and why he is a huge advocate for harm reduction. Expanding our view a bit, policymakers and advocates play a crucial role in shaping the landscape of addiction recovery. In recent years, there's been a shift towards policies that support harm reduction strategies, recognizing their potential to save lives and reduce societal costs associated with drug addiction. However, the debate continues on how these policies are implemented and the balance between promoting public health and ensuring community safety. As we reflect on these insights, it becomes clear that the journey to recovery is multifaceted, shaped by a complex interplay of personal circumstances, societal values, and evolving scientific understanding. Whether through abstinence or harm reduction, the goal remains the same: to offer hope and healing to those affected by addiction. As we start to wrap up, we stand at the crossroads of abstinence and harm reduction, two paths diverging in the vast forest of addiction recovery. What we've uncovered together is not a clear victor, but rather the profound understanding that the journey of recovery is deeply personal, nuanced, and resistant to one-size-fits-all solutions. Through the lens of research, expert opinion, and the lived experiences of those on the front lines of recovery, we've seen that both abstinence and harm reduction offer valuable tools in the fight against addiction. Each approach, with its unique strengths and challenges, underscores a fundamental truth: the importance of choice, compassion, and tailored support in the recovery process. The journey to recovery, whether it's yours or someone you care about, is filled with uncertainty, hope, and the potential for transformation. As we navigate these waters, let's carry forward the message that every step taken towards recovery, no matter how small, is a victory in its own right. Let's embrace the diversity of paths in the recovery landscape, advocating for policies and practices that recognize and support this diversity. Now I turn to you. What has been your experience with or perspective on abstinence and harm reduction? Which approach resonates with you and why? Share your thoughts, stories, and questions in the comments below. Your voice is a crucial part of this ongoing conversation, and together we can foster a community of understanding, support, and hope. And if this video has opened new pathways of thought, or if you found solace in our shared exploration, I encourage you to like, share, and subscribe. By spreading awareness and fostering dialogue, we can challenge stigma and support one another in the journey towards healing and recovery. Remember, no matter where you are in your path, you're not alone. There are resources, communities, and individuals ready to support you every step of the way. Let's continue this conversation, both online and in our communities, and keep pushing forward towards a future where recovery is accessible and supported in all of its forms. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Until next time, take care, be safe, and be well.